Hello, my name is Pratik and today I'm gonna give presentation on Google Tensor Chip. So we'll see what is Google Tensor Chip, some FAQ, specifications, and we will do a quick comparison between Google versus Qualcomm. So what is Google Tensor Chip? The Google Tensor Chip is the company's first SoC. The Pixel 6 and 6 Pro are the first devices that include the processor. Tensor is named after Google Tensor Processing Unit, deep learning hardware which is commonly used during network infrastructure. Tensor is a microcontroller board base made up of a variety of Google design or license elements. Google is emphasizing Tensor's advanced analytical capabilities. This factor influences how much rapidly a smartphone appears, how long the battery seems to last, and cellular modem, among other things. We will see some FAQs now. First one is who developed Google Tensor? Tensor was developed in collaboration with Google Research. According to Google, Samsung uses their 5 nanometer LTE technology to make the components. Next one is which devices offer Google Tensor? October 2021, Google released two additional Pixel phones, the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. They are high-end smartphones featuring Tensor processor and they are the first one to ship with Google new SoC. Next is Google Tensor ARM-based silicon? Yes, Tensor is on the very same operating system as Qualcomm and some other mobile processors. Next one is what Google Tensor can do. Tensor running some advanced state-of-the-art ML models, but at lower power consumption compared to previous Pixel phones. For example, Google Assistant on Google Tensor uses the most accurate automatic speech recognition ASR ever released by Google. And for the first time, we can use a high-quality ASR model even for long-running applications such as Recorder or tools such as live caption without quickly draining the battery. Now let's see the specification. First we will talk about GPU. Tensor uses a 20-core Mali 678 GPU. Google claims it's 370% quicker than those in Pixel 5. AI and ML. The Google Tensor chip excels in two key areas, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Tensor improves surveillance, voice detection, voice control, interpretation, encoding, and pronunciation. Next is CPU. The very first Tensor chip is a 5 nanometer octa-core chipset, two Cortex-X1 cores running at 2.8 GHz, two Cortex-A76 cores running at 2.25 GHz, and four Cortex-A55 cores running at 1.8 GHz makes up the chipset. Next is security. When it comes to the safety, the Tensor chipset comes with the innovative Titan M2 security chip. The Pixel 6 have the most level of embedded system in any smartphone, according to Google, thanks to the Titan M2. Now let's do a quick comparison of Google Tensor versus Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 series. So these are all the benchmark scores. First one is CPU single core score. Yeah, Google Tensor chip scored 1048, meanwhile Snapdragon 888 scored 1226. Next is CPU multi-core score. Google Tensor scored 2874 and Snapdragon scored 3739. So as we can see that Snapdragon 888 series performed very well in CPU benchmarks. Then next is GPU scores. In that Google scored 298,218 and Snapdragon series scored a little bit more 316,401. And if we talk about battery life, here Google Tensor takes some lead. Battery life score is 100 here and Snapdragon is little behind by 95. In camera, which the score is provided by the DxO Mark score, and here Google Tensor scored 135 and Snapdragon 888 series is 134. As Google Tensor is just the first version of SoC, we can see major changes in the benchmarks in the upcoming versions. And if we talk about architecture, both are based on 5 nanometer processor and The latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 series is based on 4 nanometer architecture. So that's it.